Ladies and gentlemen, Kocosports.com proudly presents the Boom Boom Room. And of course, I am the sexiest man on all of Internet Wrestling Radio. That's right, Boom Boom here, shaking the room live from the RVA, talking about Richmond, Virginia. And guys, did you happen to check out King of the Ring last night? I did, and I really, really enjoyed it. The question we always ask at the beginning of every show, but as you can tell from my how upbeat I am about it. I'm giving it a win, but I'm going to ask you, like I do each and every time I do a show, is win, loss, or tie. So tell me what you got. Put it down here in the comment section and keep your questions coming in. It's good to be back. King of the Ring, man. What can I say? I did not check out Monday Night Raw, but I did, however, listen to Dave Coco's Monday Night Raw review, as I do each and every Tuesday morning when I finally get back from work and find out if I should watch it or not. Of course, you had Wrestling Rantin', and stay strong, brother. He's holding tight there. He's holding down the fort in Baltimore, Maryland. So my thoughts and prayers with Wrestling Rantin'. Of course, you have American Alucard joining us in from time to time. Rob. I think we've even, we even have a whole slew of co-hosts or whatever, but I'm the favorite. All right, King of the Ring. First of all, let me preface this by saying the whole idea on paper I didn't like, for the pure and simple fact of that they really, I don't feel like WWE told a good story going into it. Yeah, we all know about the King of the Ring tournament. I mean, it goes all the way back. They talk about the history of that. I'm not really familiar with King of the Ring in the senses of of Harley Race winning it and Don Morocco. People like that. I'm more familiar with like a lot of you with the '90s. Back when Bret Hart won it, Owen Hart won it, Mabel back before he became Viscera and his career was pretty much fucking over. That was the King of the Ring I was familiar with, and I was also familiar with it was actually a whole pay-per-view. You would have like qualifying matches to get in there. You would have, I think they would do like I think it was actually the first round, or they would do the whole tournament one night in that pay-per-view. Then they did away with the pay-per-view for a while, and it was just kind of a novelty they recently brought back on Raw. They do this every so often. They've only had one two-time winner that I'm familiar with, and I believe that is Bret Hart. I believe he's the only two-time King of the Ring winner. So that I like. Now, what I didn't like about the setup for this, and I'm going to get to the whole event of what took place in just a second here, but I'm just trying to set everything up. They had an 8-man single elimination tournament. They did the first round on Raw, and they did what I think was a smart move. They did the semifinals and finals on the WWE Network, which it seems to work out this week because they're doing the whole, hey, we're giving it away for free again because, okay, you give it away free before WrestleMania and you're giving it away free after WrestleMania because that makes a lot of business sense. Insert Dave Koco's ranting right here because he could probably do it a hell of a lot better than I could. Because we all know that, like Sam's Club, they totally just give away free memberships and then to get people in the doors, then charge you the next month. Nah, I'm thinking they're just doing this to inflate the numbers to keep the stock, inflate their subscription numbers because the whole idea, at least in my theory, is you give away a free month, people subscribe to it, they forget to cancel, then they look on their credit card bill the next month like, oh, crap, I just had $9.99 deducted. Oh, crap, let me just cancel this. And they still got them for another month, and then the subscription runs out. Then when the numbers start to, kind of dip again, it's like, oh, we're going to give away another month. Hell, at this rate, WWE, I could get the WWE Network and not have to pay for it because you give it away, 4 or 5 times a year? Hey, just subscribe during the free month, just before the free month ends, cancel the subscription, you don't get charged, and then you just know they're going to give it away again. So why the hell do you even bother? Anyway, but that's a different rant for a different time. The whole 8 men that they originally had start off with it, I wish they would have done some better explanations about how these gentlemen were picked to enter the King of the Ring tournament. Of course, you had Sheamus, Ambrose, Neville, Harper, R-Truth, Stardust, Barrett, Ziggler. So how did these guys get selected? Was it like a first come first serve? Were they specially selected? If so, what was the criteria? why these 8 people? Was it just, hey, here's a sign-up sheet we're sticking outside the door, these are the first 8 guys who signed up? Even that, as lame as excuses that would be still be a good explanation of why this is happening. But anyway, with that being said, with all that being said, and the first round going on Monday Night Raw, I enjoyed the tournament. I really enjoyed it. It was a full hour of, oh my God, wrestling. We want to see wrestling on a wrestling show. What the fuck? Oh my God! I think WWE's maybe they're on the verge of breaking through. They might be onto a concept here to put wrestling on a fucking wrestling show. Anyways, started out very wonderful start out with Sheamus versus Neville. Of course, you got Sheamus. You know, he's touting that he's going to become a second-time King of the Ring winner. You know, again, pulling off the whole, I don't know what the fuck, Viking, I don't know what kind of fucking look he's got. It looks fucking stupid. I'm going to agree with the crowd on that one. Again, pulling the bullies. And then Neville, you know, the young upstart from Newcastle, who I think they've got some good brown hair there in Newcastle. Maybe some of our UK fans can maybe, you know, let me know about that. I think that's what they're advertising here in the U.S., Newcastle brown ale. But anyway. You know, he's talking about him, he being the longest running NXT champion or longest reigning, and now he's going to be be the King of the Ring. Going out there on paper, I was like, I'm very optimistic about this. You know, the kind of whole David Goliath. I didn't know how big Sheamus was and how short Neville was till I actually saw him in the ring. I mean, Sheamus really dwarfed Neville, but Neville, man, he's got it. I mean, dude, pound for pound, Neville was like the more muscular, more well-conditioned athlete. Yeah, Sheamus was bigger, but let me tell you something. Neville's built like a fucking brick shit house. I mean, he is stout. Anyway, and here's another thing. Let me say something else here about Neville. I was really kind of nervous about Neville coming up to the main roster. There was talks of like him doing like a Mighty Mouse gimmick. Thank God that has not materialized. Well, yet. Trust me, there's plenty of time for WWE to fuck this shit up. He comes out there, and he's really starting to connect with the crowd. I mean, you can't tell me each and every one of those people in that crowd are huge NXT marks. Not every damn one of them. You can't tell me every one of them has been. I mean, believe me, it would be nice. It would be great if, you know, a lot of the WWE universe did their homework, especially on the up-and-comers, and saw some of Neville's epic matches. His match with Bo Dallas, the 4-way last year, the match where he lost the title against Sami Zayn. He's definitely put on some great performances. So Neville coming out there looking great, connecting with the crowd. You know, there's another thing. Why can't damn it, I'm getting off topic. I'm pulling a Kocotis here. Why can't WWE push all their new up-and-coming guys like they're doing Neville? I mean, Neville, they talk about his history with NXT. They talk about a little bit about who he is. He's not handed everything. He sticks to his strengths. He goes out there. He wows the crowd. The crowd connects with him. And everything he does seems within his comfort zone. I mean, it doesn't seem out of character for him. I mean, it's not like they send him out there, okay, start rapping. Okay, Neville, we're going to send you out there in a cowboy hat and a lasso. Okay, we're going to send you out there, Neville, and you're going to juggle bowling pins. You know, it's not – who he is who he is, and I think and it feels genuine and authentic, and I think that's why Neville is connecting, and he busts his ass in the ring, and people love it, and he's not handed everything. Yeah, he suffered some devastating losses. He looked good at them. I mean, remember his match with Seth Rollins? I mean, he looked great. Yeah, he lost, but he was still able to hold his head up high, and people were clapping, going, you gave it one hell of an effort, and it's one of those, I'm pretty sure if he wrestled him again, he would win, which is what you want, which is exactly what you want as a promoter. You want, if your face loses, you want your fans to be like, wow, he came so close. I promise you, if you wrestled him one more time, he would totally win. He would correct whatever little mistakes there, and he would totally win. Why can't they do that with Roman Reigns? I'm just saying. I mean, he wouldn't be as booed out of the building because everything he's doing right now is so unnatural and contrary to his character, how he was introduced, how he'd been up into this point. But Neville, man, everything is staying within the confines of his character. It's just amazing and anyway refreshing. But These two had a great match. Sheamus dominated throughout most of the match. It was like, oh boy, here we go. I was worried that they were just going to try to squash him and then have Sheamus go all the way. But no, Neville hung in there using his legs, those devastating kicks, it going to the outside. Man, he sold that. Neville sold it when he got bounced off the ring apron into the table. I mean, he really, really sold that match. Sheamus, he came in, hit white noise, and then you get into a little bit of the shady territory, but I'm going to let it slide and I'll explain to you why. It looked like Sheamus was starting to capitalize. He was about to get everything going his way, about to take home a win. And Dolph Ziggler comes up and interrupts from the stage and then brings up their match Extreme Rules and shows the clip where Ziggler reversed Sheamus's maneuver and got a schoolboy roll up. This obviously provided the distraction because Neville clocked Sheamus right in the head. He drops to the mat. Neville climbs to the top turnbuckle. Everybody's going crazy. People are standing up because they love his fucking finishing maneuver. Hits the red arrow, gets the win, but it's not over yet. Ziggler runs down to the ring. He starts to brawl with, he's saying, you know, hey, if I remember, it was a Kiss My Arse match, and I'm coming to collect. And goes down there, and these two start trading punches. It looked like Sheamus was about to just walk away from it, very frustrated, and decided nope, and he went back in there. They started fighting some more. Sheamus came up with a bloody eye, which he had to get 4 stitches to close, by the way. And normally I would be upset about a fuck finish. I hate these fucking, you know, interferences, these schoolboy roll-ups, but this one, it makes sense because that's what happened in the first round of the tournament. When, Bad News Barrett beat Dolph Ziggler on Monday Night Raw, it was because Sheamus came out there and showed the still picture of Sheamus shoving Ziggler's head into his ass. Context is everything, because that's not gay. And then it shows how Sheamus advanced because during the first round in his match against Dean Ambrose, Ziggler caused a disqualification when he tried to kick Sheamus's ass. And so everything, okay, it's like, okay, I'll let it slide a little bit because it makes sense. Everything goes into the, you know, it's kind of like the bad guy gets his comeuppance. He interfered in Ziggler's match and cost him a shot at becoming king of the ring. So now Ziggler's going to return the favor. And plus they're carrying on their feud from the pay-per-view. I'll let it slide. It's not like it ended in a schoolboy roll-up, and Ziggler didn't actually get into the ring and interfere. He just provided like a brief distraction, which caused Neville to get the win. So all in all, I'm happy with it. Then next, we had the second match here. It was R-Truth versus Bad News Barrett. R-Truth started battling on about spiders, and I just don't get it. I don't know what the whole about spiders is. We're going to build a spider castle with a drawbridge because that's like a driveway, then like a moat. And I'm like, we're going way, hey, out here into batshit crazy territory. I don't get it. I know R-Truth's character has always been just a little off, little crazy, going off on tangents, you know, kind of like me and Dave. But this was like, okay, this is going on way too long. It's like, okay, a few seconds of it have been like, okay, yeah, you get the point. No, they were running that. They beat that dead horse and beat it into dust. Then you bring out, of course, Bad News Barrett saying he's going to be king of the ring. These two went out there and had it absolutely. I think they had a pretty good match. It was better than what I thought it would be. Truth got a lot of offense in there. In fact, there were some points I was thinking, well, you know what? Maybe R-Truth will pull off the upset here. Great spot where it looked like Truth was frustrating the hell out of Barrett. It looked like he was going to get the win. Barrett put his foot on the rope and stopped it. There was a brief distraction on the outside. He was going to the outside. He jammed a thumb into R-Truth's eye during that momentary blindness. He comes in and clocks R-Truth with the bull hammer, gets the win, and it just, wow. It wasn't a great match, but it was better than what I thought it was going to be. R-Truth looked good in there. Damn, R-Truth, man. Why can't this guy get a mainstream push? Why does he have to be like the little mid-card, semi-comedy act? He can go. I mean, every time WWE has given him the ball, he's run with it. I mean, he had a great heel run with Miz back in the day. He did the little Jimmy gimmick, was okay. But Jimmy, just this year alone, the build up to Mania when he stole the Intercontinental title from Barrett, and he looked great in that match. And then I thought, okay, well, now WrestleMania is over with. They're going to go just, him back to being R-Truth, the goofy guy. And he did for a few weeks, and then they put him in this King of the Ring tournament, and he's just going. I mean, he's just going out there and shining every time. Anytime they've given him like a serious role to go in there and wrestle, he delivers. And I just don't know why that doesn't translate to a bigger push, to a bigger role. Obviously, with this, with Daniel Bryan's health problems, why not, start like an Intercontinental title tournament and put him in there? I mean, I'm not saying he should just straight out, flat out win it, but I think he should be at least part of the conversation. Anyway, and I know, a lot of hosts are going to sit here and talk, at length about R-Truth, but me, I recognize when somebody busts their ass in the ring, and I want to see that from more of the superstars. So R-Truth does it. And Bad News Barrett, again, what a great talent. I mean, ever since he's came up with Nexus in the first season of NXT, it was absolutely amazing. I kind of hate the fact that they shuffle gimmicks around on the guy, but he delivers in the ring. He's found something. He's found his stride. I don't know. Should they put the Intercontinental title belt back on him? With this, I don't know. After this, with the history of King of the Ring, I'm going to get to that in just a second. I don't know if they should, but Barrett, definitely one of their better talents, and really recovering nice from that shoulder injury he suffered a few months ago. See, then there was a video tribute to the late great Verne Gagne. Bravo to Verne Gagne. I hate that he suffered from dementia in the last part of his life. Believe me, from someone who's had to deal with that, with the family member, believe me, that's heartbreaking. It's very, very heartbreaking to deal with, and but you can't take away his legacy. A great Minnesota athlete, promoted the AWA. And if you have not seen the fabulous, I think it was like the fabulous history of the AWA, I really recommend you just really check that out. You really see the impact that Verne Gagne had on professional wrestling. And I guarantee you, had Vince McMahon not started gobbling up territories, the AWA would still be in business. I mean, Gagne gave Hulk Hogan his break. He trained Sergeant Slaughter, Ric Flair, I think Crusher Jerry Blackwell, Baron Von Raschke. And somebody mentioned, like, on that documentary, it was a very interesting fact. Everybody that Verne Gagne trained made money. Every one of them. And I think that speaks a lot about him. He was a star, owned his own promotion, but he made sure everybody around him was successful, and they made money. And I'm also glad that he got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2006 when everything, he was still, what's the word, not coherent. But, back before, the disease and everything, the degenerative disease, dementia and everything set in. I'm glad that he had that moment. I'm glad that he got to speak his piece. I'm glad that, he's going to be immortalized forever. And I'm glad that he got to remember and enjoy it, as well as his family got to see it and enjoy it. See, that's why I'm not a huge fan of just, inducting all these posthumous inductees, because I think there's a lot of these guys that are starting to get older and get on up there, that they don't have too much long on this earth, and they need to have their moment. They need to be recognized. They need to enjoy it. Their families need to enjoy it and just bask in that glory that they so rightfully deserve. So hats off here to Verne Gagne for changing professional wrestling and doing it as a classy guy. Verne Gagne and Hulk Hogan, had some disagreements, but that was just over money. he was, for all accounts, at least that I've heard and seen, that he was actually that what you see was him. What you saw in the ring was him. What you saw in interviews was him. He was genuinely a good guy. And I just like it when I see good guys succeed. So my condolences to the Gagne family. Hate this heartbreaking loss for you, but thank you for sharing Vern with the world for as long as you did. Anyway, so we're going to go on here to the finals. Neville versus Bad News Barrett. Wow, I couldn't have booked this probably any better myself. If they would have asked me, who would you want to see in the finals? Good guy. You had to pick one good guy, one bad guy. This is exactly what I would have picked. Neville versus Bad News Barrett, an all-English finals, if you will. You had Manchester versus Newcastle. I'm probably fucking that up. Not a bad match. I don't want to say not a bad match. Like, oh no, it was bad. No, it was actually a pretty good match. These two picked right back up where both of them left off. Neville getting a big chant from the crowd. Wow. Neville going out there looking great with those somersaults that he does right there in the ring. There was a beautiful, let's see, Neville followed up with the German suplex, so he can show he's not just he's not just a high flyer. He can actually get out there and wrestle. Barrett caught Neville with the winds of change. There was one point where it looked like Barrett was going to lose because you had Neville kick him in the face. Barrett went down. Neville had to drag him over to the ring corner. Was going for the red arrow, but that few extra seconds that it took to drag Barrett over proved to be all the difference. He comes off the top rope for the red arrow and for the win, but Barrett moves out of the way. Luckily, Neville lands on his feet, moves out of the way. Barrett goes into the corner. Neville's going to go in to follow up. Boom. Bullhammer elbow to the face. Neville drops. Barrett gets the win and becomes the king of the ring. So, well done match. And here's the thing. A lot of these matches in this tournament were not long. I mean, these were not, but they were good. I'm a huge fan of just let the wrestlers wrestle. Let them tell a story, and I think they did that the other night. They told stories. Everything made sense. Everything had a purpose. There was not too much shenanigans. At least the shenanigans there was done for a purpose. It fed into the continuity of the storylines. Everything came together in the end. It made absolute sense, and it was absolutely just a beautiful, beautiful tournament. Then Barrett goes up to the stage, puts on the little robe, I guess, that little king robe, or I don't know, cape, crowns himself, grabs the scepter, and he's the king of the ring. Now, what does this mean? Because traditionally speaking, a lot of these guys who've won King of the Ring have gone on to do amazing things. Granted, there's been some exceptions. Don the Rock Morocco, I don't think he really went on to do anything. Billy Gunn really didn't go on to do anything. Mabel, yeah, he became then WWF champion, but after he left and came back, and when he came back, it was never the same. Edge, now he went on to become a champion. Bret Hart, obviously. Owen Hart, let's not go there. This is where where Austin 316 was born. So you've got that. Sheamus, he went on to become a champion. William Regal didn't. But I think it's worth putting Barrett in that conversation to maybe move him up to the next level. I mean, he's got everything that you would really want. I mean, he's a big guy. He's muscular. He's pretty much well-spoken on the microphone. He's a guy that you could parade out there in front of the media and everybody and not be embarrassed. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying bad. I'm just saying I'm trying to think like WWE and Vince McMahon does, and that's the kind of the things that they're looking for. And the one thing that goes for him, and I got to put the take two, and one thing that he's got going for him, and I have to bring this cheap shot in, is he's white. That boy is whiter than a paper. He is whiter than white on rice and a glass of milk on top of a paper plate in the middle of a snowstorm. Damn it, that's a white boy. So, Vince McMahon will love him. all in all, I really, really enjoyed the tournament. I wish WWE would do more stuff like this. I mean, it was great. There was no dun 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 dun. There was no believe that. There was no authority. It was just, hey, here's some talented guys. They're gonna wrestle. There's a prize to be won at the end, and it's gonna mean something by the time it's over. So that is what that's what I'm looking for. And I wish WWE would do it more. Uh, and everything just made sense. It was absolutely beautiful. So gonna give it a thumbs up. So right now I'm not seeing any questions. So I guess we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to tell everybody to stay tuned to Kocosports.com. We got a lot of stuff coming up this week. We got a lot of stuff. We have NXT going to be tonight. Yours truly here. I'm going to try to get in there and review that bad boy tonight. And so that way, if you find out if you want to watch it or not. Lucha Underground. I would love to do a Lucha Underground review, but every time I try to do it, Dave Kocotas has already done it. It doesn't matter. It could be like 5 minutes past the show. All right, I think I'll get David. Oh shit, it's already done. Fuck. So maybe if I sweet talk Dave, he'll be patient. We can do the Lucha Underground review in our luchador mask. Ole. Yes, we both have luchador mask, and hopefully we'll do that. SmackDown coming up. I got to get off my fucking fat ass and do that shit. I missed it last week because my mom came to visit, and I dropped the ball on that. So I apologize to Dave Kocotas for being a jerk and not doing my due diligence and duties with SmackDown. We've got you know what? I know this still falls under combat sports, but this weekend, man, you got the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. Wonder if me and Dave should review that. I don't know. I'll be at work, but I could probably do it the next morning. Then you got War of the Worlds coming up with Ring of Honor. Of course, we got Monday Night Raw. Man, there's just a lot of stuff coming up. I hope we can get it all knocked out on time. We've also done reviews on this past Monday Night Raw. That review is up and ready to go. We've done reviews on Extreme Rules 2015. That review is up and ready to go, and you can find it on our YouTube page, or you can go to Kocosports.com. That's KOCOsports.com, your home for all combat sports. That includes boxing, mixed martial arts, pro wrestling, amateur wrestling, sumo wrestling, taekwondo, kickboxing, judo. If you can get your nose broke doing it, we got it covered there on the site. We've even got our news and gossip section updated daily by Rob. We've even got our very popular video on demand section. And of course, we've got our archives there. So you can watch any episode of Wrestle AM, the Boom Boom Room, Coco's Corner, anything else that you may want to watch there. And the best part is it's absolutely 100% positively free. Kocosports.com. It's where the world goes to kick ass. So this is the sexiest man on all of Internet Wrestling Radio. That's right, Boom Boom. Signing off from my partner, Dave Kocotas, Dave Coco, soon to be award-winning author. And in the words of Coco, I am over. Boop, 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 boop.